Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Grunt Style Foundation podcast on this fantastic, good Friday. It's such a good Friday. The weather is really looking beautiful today, and we're headed into a wonderful weekend. And I'm here with my friend Will Wisner, the executive director of the Grunt Style Foundation. I, of course, am from Irreverent Warriors, and we've got a good lineup today of guests and topics to cover. I would like to start on a somewhat solemn note. I just got back from the funeral of the leader of one of our largest chapters of Irreverent Warriors, Mike Wilkie.
Mike Wilkie.
And, I mean, what a fantastic human, and what a fantastic ability that he brought us all together to have this reunion of sorts at his funeral and the wake and the after party. About 200 folks attended, and the Irreverent Warriors showed up as they would in silkies with tuxedo T-shirts, and in a way that he would appreciate and he would have advocated for.
Yeah, I didn't know, was that at the after party or at the funeral itself?
At everything.
Right on.
At everything, yes. And
Right
he
on.
was actually buried in silkies.
Yeah, man.
In accordance with the wills of the family, and I'm sure he was just laughing and having a blast. But we got to meet his wonderful uncle he had always told me about, also named Mike, who was in 3rd Marine Regiment in Vietnam and was a radio operator, and we got to talk about that because I, of course, am a radio operator myself. His brother, Bill Wilkie, who is just a phenomenal leader in his own right. And he is somebody that is also unafraid to talk about emotional healing,
Yeah.
you know, and the dozens of people that spoke and were able to tell the family about how they were going through different suicidal ideation periods of their life and heavy despair and heavy periods of hopelessness that we're all familiar with, those emotional feelings, and how Mike was able to figure out that they were going through this, even though a lot of them said he had an intuition because they didn't share it. Mm-hmm. And he would figure it out, and then somehow he would just say, hey, we're going to become best friends, and I'm going to hold your hand through this.
Yeah,
you know?
Wilkie's emotional intelligence was off the chain.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So that was just incredibly impactful. And they actually, they wanted me to give you something from the family. And it's the 30-06 cartridge from his rifle detail. He was buried with full military honors. And they wanted you to have this. And that's when they fired the 21-gun salute. And the Navy did an excellent job. He was a petty officer in the Navy, and the Navy just did a fantastic job of rendering the full military honors for him and firing the 21 rounds. And so,
Man,
there you go.
That's very heavy. So don't make me cry. All right. That's, man, wow. Well, thank you very much. This is going to mean a lot. We have a collection of things that are very impactful and important to us in the work that we've done. We've gathered them up along the way. You know, we have our own little place of reverence where we place things, and this will go front and center right on them. It's amazing to me how objects can hold so much meaning, and you know what this means to me is going to be different than what it means to everybody else. You know, in the organization that also carried a big place in their heart. You know, for Mike, and I'm sure everyone will look on it in a very special way. So thank you very much for bringing that back.
Yeah, no, it's my honor. Mike was instrumental to where we've been heading with Irreverent Warriors lately, and we have our conference, our leadership conference and training next weekend, and he was scheduled to be a presenter, and he was going to present on starting an emotional support group, a virtual emotional support group for Irreverent Warriors. And the reason he felt called to do that is he shared with me that he himself, through his own experience, has been going through this experience in life where he feels he's now ready to share that with others. And that was that human society has trained us and told us that we have to seek externally for the thing to fill our heart, for our emotional problems. We need one more pill. We need one more shot of alcohol. We need one more pharmaceutical. We need one more diagnosis. We need one more adrenaline rush. Just seeking externally to try to numb your emotional pain. Essentially, he felt that human society has gotten to the point where we're just trained to run away from emotional pain, and to avoid it and to run away from it.
We are.
Yeah, and he felt that through his own journey and his own progress, that the opposite is actually is true. And he wanted to share that. And in his experience, running into that negative emotion or running into those emotions and questioning them and asking them, like, panic attack, what are you trying to show me? What are you trying to teach me?
Right.
And looking inward versus the constantly, grasping externally, but going inward. And he had been able to explore these emotions and get down to forgiveness and self-love in a way that hardly any military leader I've ever spoken to is able to discuss this, right? And he found a way and found the words to want to be able to bring that to more people. But it took a while for him to experience it before he was willing to bring it forward, right? And he wanted to start doing meditations, video meditations, guided meditations, helping people explore this.
That's exactly what we want.
Yes.
Is somebody who's going to be carrying that mission forward, or is this something where we're needing to find the right person now that Mike's gone?
We are looking. We'll be at the leadership conference. We'll be asking for volunteers. I wouldn't
be surprised if you have 100 hands shoot up.
I know.
Maybe 200, because both hands would go up.
He was that inspirational.
He is.
Yeah.
It remains to be so.
Absolutely. Yeah. Such a fantastic human.
Well, thanks for going up there, man. I know that's hard. You went up there with Ed Eaton, I believe.
Absolutely. The turnout was, there were people that flew in and traveled from all over the country. It was really powerful to see, packed room, packed house. They had us, I was in uniform and they allowed me and others to come up and do a final salute as a part of the ceremony. So it was really powerful. They did Bill Wilkie and his best friend Eric just did an excellent job putting everything on. The after party was at his favorite pool hall. His best friend DJ'd it, played a lot of their favorite songs. The food was incredible. Like everybody was just doing what he would have wanted, celebrating his life. His life. So,
what just do you know off the top of your head what was Mike's favorite song?
The one that there's two that come to mind when I think about Mike Wilkie. One is Jump Around by Cypress Hill because he dances so well to it and in such a unique way. The other one is Business by Tiesto because he sang it very publicly.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are two that come to. He was really into EDM and electronic music and dance shows and things like that. And his buddy Eric, who DJ'd, actually DJs that kind of music as well. So
that's amazing. I wish I could have made it up there for that. And greatly disappointed that didn't pan out. But
yeah,
I wish I could have been there for that after party. I bet 200 IW folks coming to celebrate is got to be a good night.
Yeah, a lot of laughter. Nonstop stories about Mike, and you really can't tell one without laughing because even when he was pushing you out of your comfort zone or forcing you to confront an emotional truth that you didn't want to about yourself,
right,
he would also then put a little spin on it that made you giggle. He had a way of changing energy in the room. So such a huge part of IW.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep that going next week. We got the conference coming up next week.
That's right. We do. We have the IW conference. We're going back to our infantry roots. IW began in the 1st Marine Division after a rash of suicides after the wind down of some of the deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan. And there was a significant fallout and a significant amount of suicides in the 1st Marine Division out in Camp Pendleton.
Yeah.
This is 2014, 2015, 2016, and that's when IW really got going and got off the ground. So we're going back to our infantry roots. We are going to Combat Outpost IW at Quiver River State Park in partnership with the Missouri State Park System. We are going to be going to an authentic infantry combat outpost in the Ozarks, and just humor, camaraderie, and healing. And we're going to learn a bunch of new things. And we're getting ready to position. We are positioning Irreverent Warriors for growth and for scalable growth and healing. So, looking forward to it.
And how appropriate, ironically so, that this is our lead with adding this new focus on trying to move towards healing and actively healing and empowering all of our LCs with these tools.
Right.
And this was the work of Mike, and it's just
It
blooming
is.
on cue.
This was his dream.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, yes. I mean, on my first hike with Mike, I mean, the first time I met him was on July 4th, and this July 4th is going to be our 10-year anniversary for IW. So there's so many different synchronicities, and he's just he will continue to be a massive part of this. I mean, one of the things we're doing at the conference is giving out the Be Like Mike Award. The Be Like Mike Award is given to the leader that is the most emotionally vulnerable, community building, and goofy all at the same time.
Which trifecta.
I know, yeah. We've got a lot of wonderful submissions for who should get that award, but the award is going to be an annual award that's given, and for somebody that wins it, a lot is expected.
Yeah. Well, what do you get? What's the award look like?
It is a glass framed trophy, and there's some humor on it, but it's a Mike Wilkie Be Like Mike.
And I hope you've got that, because I saw
glass etched trophy.
Dude, man, in my head, I'm sure it's going to look completely different than what's in my mind's eye. But in my mind's eye, I'm seeing the videos that I saw from the Texas hike here recent, where they had the big cardboard Mike Wilkie heads that they're marching with.
Right.
I was like, man, I just see like his face etched in that glass as part of the award. It's so good.
Sure. Well, the thing is this first one we had to do it quickly, right? So I think in the future the award could evolve 100%. But yep, totally looking forward to it. But yeah, we're doing the combat outpost, so we are doing a lot of classes and introducing a lot of new types of healing modalities that have helped veterans across the country, and we're just getting our hands dirty and learning them better. So, cold plunges, triangular compass, meditation, guided. Doing some different integration with plants and different ceremonies to learn about how plants can help emotional healing. So a lot of different modalities and things we're going to be covering.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. Ed, you weren't here last Friday, but Ed did a good job Ed Eaton did a good job of convincing me to try the cold plunge.
Yeah,
that moved me a long way, man, because that's not something that
Yep, it doesn't call to you.
Does not call to me.
Well, similar to the sweat lodge. So what I noticed about the sweat lodge in the similarity between the two, extreme hot or extreme cold, is you basically hit these walls, and you just have to try to breathe and focus and release and surrender to get past that wall. There's like a wall of anxiety, right? Or discomfort, let's say, that builds. For me, it comes on as anxiety, but for others, it could be different. And you build that, and you breathe through it, and you find that internal locus of self, or that compass of self-confidence, and you move through that. And then there's a release, and it helps so much with inflammation as well. So I'm glad he talked about that.
Yeah, he was convincing. I mean, he's leading by example, though. So, I mean, I can't throw my nose up at when the proof's in the pudding, and you got all these guys I look up to and admire that are talking about the benefits they've had, and I'm all about trying to preach for benefits. So, I'll walk my talk. I'll jump in the cold water.
Well, we're doing it on Friday.
Oh, gee, damn! I've got something going on Friday. I don't know if I can make it there.
Oh man!
All right, I'll be there.
All right, and I know that we were going to check in with a couple of our team members on this podcast. And I believe we were going to check in with Anna, our marketing director. And hey, there you are. How are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Awesome.
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Everything is falling apart in Wisconsin here, but at least I'm connected.
Wonderful. Thank you for making it. I would love for you to tell us about. I know we have an April Fool's joke, and we also have a 10-year anniversary thing coming out, right?
Yeah, well, so it was one of our more successful April Fool's joke, I will say. One of my team members, just turn this down really quick, I'm sorry. One of my team members came up with the idea, and he decided that he was going to reach out to other influencers as well and kind of have everyone have this react. We also sent an internal email, so hopefully everyone in IW was tracking as well. But then we came up with this video idea of banning silkies because of, they were too scandalous. And the April Fool's joke worked very, very well. Somehow it is still working, even though we have told people it's an April Fool's joke.
Can we roll that clip? I think we got video footage of that. Can we play that?
And what's your favorite part about all these silky hikes?
The Silkies. I mean,
Hi everyone, my name is Anna, and I am currently the Interim Marketing Director for Reverend Warriors. And I am here with a message that most of you will be unhappy to hear. Due to ongoing supply chain issues and in alignment with our new sponsor guidelines, we will no longer be offering silkies as a part of our events. We do understand, obviously, how iconic silkies have been for this community, but after multiple discussions with our board and event partners, it's become clear that they no longer align with our evolving brand standards. In particular, several sponsors expressed concern over the level of exposure associated with silkies, referring to them as, quote, morally ambiguous garments that blur the line between athletic wear and emotional damage. Effective immediately, we are going to be transitioning to a more professional full coverage options for future hikes. We're asking all participants to be patient and aware and to hold off on reaching out while we recover from this emotionally. This is coming from Irreverent Warriors, covering thighs, saving lives.
Hey, you want to ask me or something?
Yeah, like what do you think about this new, hiking attire now?
Yeah. No more silkies, I guess. So that's fun.
That is you did such a good job.
And
you really sold it.
And you weren't necessarily wrong. I'm not sure that they aren't morally ambiguous.
They truly are.
Fun. That's part of the fun. It's they could be morally reprehensible depending on who's wearing it, but I don't know how much ambiguity is involved in that. But
Yeah.
Well
depending
done.
on if
Well
there's
played.
a liner or not. Thank you. We got about 20K impressions within the first 15 minutes. People commenting. A lot of people were like, "Oh, it's April Fool's," and then there were some very, very angry people at me specifically, which was pretty funny to read, as they were coming in after April Fool's as well. But the cool thing about this joke is that we were leading into our 10-year anniversary with Silkies, with Thigh Huggers. So we just recently launched those, and they are limited pre-sale. But we're posting those, and hopefully people are really excited because it was so close to being taken away.
Well, I'm glad nobody told Mike about the change on policy on the silkies. That could have been awkward.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure. I love it. Well, nobody. I mean, the whole time that Mike was sick, he was joining every single call and reading every single email. So he was up on it. Yeah. Excellent. Thank you, Anna. We appreciate it so much. Thanks for coming on. Wait, aren't we doing a film release on YouTube and Amazon Prime to coincide with the Silkies, the 10-year?
Yeah. We should hopefully have the documentary available for everyone's public viewing pleasure.
Excellent.
which
Looking forward to
documentary is that? The hike home? Or?
Yes.
Yeah,
that
the
is
hike back.
good. The hike back. That is good.
Yeah, we're finally
Back
putting
home.
it out there.
Man.
We're getting it out.
Yeah, that'll put the dagger in the old guts and twist them a few times to make people understand what's going on.
Ronnie, the filmmaker, did a fantastic
Yeah, that
job.
thing's banger.
Just an excellent, excellent, excellent award-winning job. It won awards. Yeah, we're putting it out.
Man. Every time I've seen that a handful of times now, different venues, and every time it's never a dry eye in the place.
Correct. Yep, excellent work. So, thank you, Anna.
You're welcome.
Yeah. All right.
What else we got in store, man? I know we've got a lot of folks coming on today.
Yeah, we got
what else
Crystal.
is left on the docket?
Yes, absolutely. So we just had a massive hike at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. A massive hike at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, and we're going to talk to Crystal, the local coordinator for Camp Lejeune in Jacksonville, North Carolina.
All right, yeah, I'm definitely interested. I've always it's good to hear about Camp Lejeune when it's not involving lawyers and the water crisis.
Yes, no, there was plenty of water and it was clean, right, Crystal?
Yes, it was. It was probably too much for her.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, tell us a little bit about it. Tell us about how everything got started, and more importantly, tell us about some of the unique things that you saw on the hike.
Okay, so I'm gonna try not to get too excited because when I think about the hike, I just literally get lost in the moment for real. Because to think it's been 10 years is insane. Because the time really did fly by, it really did. So the first thing I noticed is like the moment I got there, everybody was set up before me. Like they all showed up a half hour early. The sponsors, all local, veteran-owned businesses that were set up. It was just amazing. You know, majority of those sponsors, they actually took care of a lot of the big stuff that happened at the hike in regards to making sure everybody was fed and had enough first first aid kits and the water and the fruit. You know, the Gold Star moms, the Blue Star moms, the Women Marines Association ladies from Tar Heel, Good Hemp, the Jacksonville Ospreys. I mean, you name it. All of the businesses really came out. We were representing for Mike. You better know it. We had his picture at every. Oh my God. I'm sorry. It was such a good time.
Yeah, Crystal.
I am so sorry. I'm so sorry.
No.
Okay.
Mike's loss
It was
is a
just-
massive loss. A massive loss.
It really was. I made sure we had his picture at every stop. Everybody signed it. Mama Nat, she's gonna make sure she mails that to his family. We wanted to get it here in time for the service, but we couldn't. But she's gonna mail it to him. You know, the effect he had on everybody was something else. Mike Burton had these signs with Mike and his picture. He passed that out to everybody. Like he was really there in spirit. I love that. And the amount of people that flew in when I saw Cindy and Donnie out, oh my God, I lost it. Of course, Donnie was already dressed for the meet and greet, which was amazing. And another big hit, Clove Hitch Beer Company. We met them last year through James. He was another volunteer, and they opened the establishment an hour early for us, and they ended up being our first and last stop. So this year they hosted the 10th anniversary meet and greet. And it was just so much fun. You know, we had the photo booth there. It was love, peace, and silkies. That was the theme of it. And we made it a full weekend. After we had the hike, we ended up going to the Limelight. And a lot of veterans worked there too. And they ended up donating to the hike and presenting us with a check. And he let us know, you know, that they're one for the community too. Once you tell people the mission of Irreverent Warriors, you know, it's pretty much it. You know, I had somebody tell me, you are really selling me on this. You can calm down. It's okay. And I was like, I didn't really know I was selling you on it. It's just something that I'm passionate about. You know, I really do like this organization. Like, how can you not like hundreds of veterans, active duty, retired reservists in these itty bitty shorts, you know, out there for a serious cause, but at the same time, they have like the biggest smile on their face. So, oh my God, the mood, the enjoyment, everything about it. Sam's Club actually set up along the route and they created a stop. You know, they had tents and speakers and everything. And then they took all of the donations, loaded them up, and they followed us to the next stop. And it was just amazing. And you had Mellow Photography. They came from Tampa, Florida. and they got footage the entire weekend. I cannot wait for you to see what these photographers got. Them, Jonas and his team. You had Dark Seas Tattoo. If you actually walk in their building, the first thing you will see is a big IW banner. He runs the entire 6.2 miles with a cigar and a camera. I don't see how he does it, okay? I do not see how he keeps it up. But he really do. And we had Mad Max there. Let me tell you, I look for him. I'm telling Sarah, we are gonna steal Max from her. Okay. We love him. And he had an interview. I can't wait for you all to see it because, you know, hearing the cool stories for him is just really, it's one for the books, you know, and to see him out there at his age just getting it, I absolutely love it. Then you will notice a little road runner with the camera. He was, I call him like the baby of the hike. He was the most motivated soul in the world. He actually won the most motivated plaque. We had the furthest travel award, which was the Puerto Rico crew. What? I was very excited to finally meet them. And then you had the coolest Silkies award. I won't tell you what was on the back of the Silkies. Let's just know that they were really cool and fun to look fun to look at. And I want to share another little crybaby moment of mine. When I was at Outback, you know, Dunny, he spoke to the hike, and I really appreciate that, you know, because you never tell people when Dunny coming because they start going crazy. I don't want people coming there just to meet him. I want them to come there for the mission and the cause when they know what we have going on. So he spoke, and I had somebody look at me and say, well, why are you really involved? And, you know, I was able to say out loud that I'm, you know, I wasn't only hiking for Sergeant Munn when I first started. I was hiking for me as well. You know, I had some pretty dark and crazy days, and I remember Googling something like veteran suicide help, need veteran suicide. I was putting those kind of code words in Google, and Irreverent Warriors just kept popping up, and I'm like, what is an irreverent warrior? What is this? And everybody looked like, you know, bodybuilders and they're in shape. I don't really know if this is if this is my crowd and they hiking for fun. What in the world? But I just kept seeing it. And I'm like, you know what? Forget it. I'm finna throw me a hike. I did it so wrong. Oh my God. I didn't have anybody's permission. All I saw was veteran help suicide. And I was like, I'm finna host one of these too. So let's just say somebody reached out to me like, you know, this is our name, right? And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I just want to be a part of this. In the very first hike, we had 450 people out there. I could barely get through the brief. I was crying. I'm a titty baby. Let me just throw that out there. I'm mean and I'm a sweetheart, but I'm very emotional when it comes to something that I'm like passionate about. And when it comes to IW, I'll keep you live for hours. Okay. I really will. My mom, she came down here for the first time a couple of years ago, which was actually pretty cool, you know, that she actually got to see what it was I'd be talking her head off about too. And my mom talks more than I do. And she was speechless. Okay. She was like, what is this, Crystal? And I started telling her, she's like, so everybody knows each other? I was like, yeah. She's like, what was that you just hugged? I was like, I don't know his name, but I remember from a couple of years ago, like we all family out here. I don't need to know you. I just want a hug, and I'm glad you came here. You know, if I see your face, I know you made it another day, you know, and that just excites me. The double pups, they were on deck, which made me good. Shout out to Master Guns Gonzalez. Me and him deployed back in Camp Pendleton. We deployed together, and he is now over at Camp Johnson, and he let me talk to a few of the Marines over there, which also tugged at my heartstrings because I had to mention Sergeant Munn, and I also had to mention, you know, the 22-year-old that we just lost over here. And I was like, let me get over there and talk to these babies now before they even make it to the fleet, because, you know, this is, you know, 21, that just hurt my feelings. You know, I need you to know that you got an organization that's here, that's local. You want to just call me and I hold the phone and you cry, scream, or vent, I would do that. I kid you not. I just want you to know that you really are, this is a better place for you. We need you here. We need you to wake up. 22-0 is always the goal. Always the goal.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And you know, your enthusiasm and the way that you've been able to organize that community and keep everybody inspired there in the Jacksonville area, you really inspire me. We are honored. We are lucky to have you on our team with Irreverent Warriors. So thank you so much. It sounds like one for the books. It sounds like
a lot of people.
Yeah.
Hey, Crystal, how many of those folks were active duty Marines out from Lejeune, and how many were veterans?
Oh, you know what? I'm still working on a number to see who is who, but I can give you some percentages, right? So when it came to the females, I think when we first started it, we made up about 4 or 5%, and we are like 30 or 40 some odd percent. I have noticed that at the very first hike, I could count how many, females were out there on my hand, and it was literally half the hike. So that always makes me feel good. Um, it was a lot of active duty there. I did notice that you can tell from the boots and the backpacks that they were wearing. I would say maybe 60% of that hike was still active duty Camp Lejeune. And those devil pups, let me tell you, I recognized about 20 of them because they made it their business to come to me like, hey, I remember you from the Speak, I'm Here. And one of the staff sergeants, his wife was a sponsor of the hike, and he was out there at Camp Lejeune too. So it just seemed to go full circle. We had I think the smallest crowd was probably the retired crowd, but they were a little heavy this year as well. They were clicked up. I was proud to see all of that. I really was. I loved it. Hey, Jonas, he's still active duty as well. Him and his little motivated guy that runs the entire hike. Where does he get this energy from? I have no clue, but he's still active duty as well. I think his run time is like 16 minutes or something like that. They told me it's insane. It's insane. He runs the
I
whole
love
hike.
that.
He's the one the most motivated. Like, I love that dude. He has to be about maybe 22, maybe. He's a baby.
What's your secret sauce, Crystal, for getting that kind of numbers to show up?
I was told by one guy, he was like, you really sell it. And I'm like, I'm not trying to sell it. I just want to let you know that, like, when you have a product that you really believe in, or I'm kind of like, I'm the result of Irreverent Warriors. I really did have a moment where I was like, look, I got a kid, but maybe my mom can just raise her, because this is just not it for me. I remember sitting in the room for days on end, but it's because of Irreverent Warriors that I get so lit and so excited. I got something to look forward to. I got to hike the plan, and I know it's going to be some people coming out here who can relate to me. So when I sit here, I'm not talking like a doctor, like, well, how does that make you feel? Are you okay? How does that make you feel? That's not how I approach you. I come to you as D-Way. Hey, how you doing? What's your name? Have you heard of Reverend Warriors? Oh, really? Okay, well, let me let you know what it is we do. And, I'm genuine. I'm not trying to sell you on anything. If you want to sponsor the hike, by all means. If you want to be a vendor, that is out there too. But my goal is just to get you out there, to get out of that dark space. Like, this is a fun event. It's impossible not to have fun. I like to describe it as a family reunion, because that's really what it is. We started to set the tone. I was like, well, if we're going to be out here, let's get some music going. And DJ Froze, he's a very popular DJ out here, and he always asks for the date a year in advance because he likes to hike that much. And I'm always looking for, some kind of games. When we were at Chili's, I don't want us to just sit around. So we were playing Twister. We had the giant Jenga. We had the hula hoop contest where they were patting on their head and doing a squat. And it was just fun. It's like, we just like to be big old kids, even though we have this what once was a secret that made us feel so bad. Out here, I don't have to feel ashamed about how I felt. I could just be me out here. I like this environment. So I'm always one for entertaining. That go all the way back to Martha Reyes. I just like the feeling of people getting together and enjoying themselves. And the fact that we all got something in common, it just made it that much easier. Like, what can I say?
So Crystal, how does the IW experience hit you different running a hike as opposed to back when you first found IW and you were a participant? How has that journey grown?
Well, I've always ran it. Like, when I first found it, I think we had our first hike in 2016. We were the first hike in North Carolina, so I was always running it. But when I go to other hikes, I get it, because I actually get to enjoy it. I get to talk to people. Everybody has a speaker, so I hear about 10 different genres of music. I get to hear this story. I get to pet this dog. I get to hear where you flew in from and who are you. Like, it's a little different when you're on the hike. You just kind of get to cruise and enjoy everything about it. I want to highlight the Irreverent Warriors Wilmington hike. They had a Halloween hike. I felt like such a kid. Oh my God, I got to wear a costume. They had a petting zoo, and I felt like I felt so carefree. It was so cool. And I was like, am I looking goofy out here feeding these ghosts? I was like, I really don't give a damn. I'm just having so much fun. And I couldn't wait. And you had guys dressed like Mario and boxes and bumper carts, and you don't get that at other events. You have different kind of marathons and festivals that go on, but it's nothing like an IW hike anywhere, like at all.
Are you going to be at the conference next week, Crystal?
Oh yes,
So
I will be there. I just got a sleeping bag. I'm ready.
Are you down for jumping in the cold water with me?
I have never done that before. I'm
I
so
haven't
going to
either.
do it. I'm going to do it because I've never done it before. I want to.
All right. Well, you do it. I'll do it.
Y'all hear him, right? Okay, we're doing that together. Oh my goodness, I heard that once you
We're
get there,
working,
that
everybody.
I'll hold your hand. We'll go in together, or whatever gets me actually in the water, because I got a feeling I'm going to chicken out of this thing.
I'm not. Is it true that I'm going to come out skinny? I heard that like when I go in there, I come out like a size 6. Is that true?
Shrinkage is a thing. I keep hearing that.
Okay, because I need that in my life. I do. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. And I get to meet some new faces too, so I can't wait.
Well, we're anxious to get you out this way to show you the surrounding area, and I think this is going to be a special event. I think the way Hugh has got this thing pieced together to kind of make that intention manifest in a bigger way, it's going to be fun, man.
Yep.
So, yeah, good job putting all this stuff together, man. I'm super excited for this.
I'm excited as well. Let's all dip our toe into healing together.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, thank you, Crystal. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Y'all have a good one.
And speaking of cold plunges, we've got our friend Stacy on from Indiana. We are doing our first ever in May.
Yeah.
May 15th, we're doing our first ever Grunt Style Foundation integration retreat in Indiana. And so she's going to talk to us a little bit about that. But on the cold plunge front, at this conference next weekend, we're going to be getting into a cold lake together.
Right.
But at the GSF integration retreat in Indiana, it's actually going to be cold plunge tanks. Correct? Is that right, Stacy? Tell us what you have planned.
Yeah, so one of the modalities that we're able to share with our veterans this year, one of our local guys, Jesse Coomer, is coming out. He's a renowned breathwork authority, and he actually does the breathwork leading into the cold plunges and the sauna tent. So we're actually having both. We're going to have the heat and the cold. So they're going to teach you that breath work to get past those walls that Hugh was talking about. As part of that class, you also get his book that you get to take home and continue to practice with even after you leave the retreat. So yes, those cold plunge tanks are ready. We have all the ice on order. So we're really pumped. It's amazing how much ice that takes. So it'll be very cold and very refreshing.
So how much colder is this thing than what we're doing in the lake? I mean, I know it's got to be way colder.
Yeah, I would say lake is entry level for cold plunge. So really anything below 60 degrees. So we'll probably be right at there. Probably I'm thinking 58, something like that.
Okay,
So
no problem.
But getting into these cold plunges, I bet we're in the 40s. I don't think to introduce people to cold plunges for the first time at that retreat, I don't think we're going to go into the 30s. But I bet we're in the 40s.
Wow.
Yeah. And Jesse does this with veterans, law enforcement, Secret Service, things like that, because it's all part of that healing, but also how you control your breathing to be able to do different modalities.
How is the event being received up there? The anticipation, the excitement for that event, the curiosity around the event. This is a little unusual. This isn't something that's normal for us. So it's kind of a lead card. You're kind of trailblazing here. Yeah, what's that like?
Yeah, so right now we have between 30 and 40 people registered. And, a lot of times when we're dealing with veterans crowds, the male population is a little bit heavier, but right now we're even Steven with both males and female veterans being represented at the wellness retreat. So we're really excited to have everyone out. But so far, we still have spots available. So we're excited to bring even more veterans in that weekend. But it's been very well received. We're getting a lot of support from a lot of our sponsors and VSOs because healing is important. And, even though our mission is to prevent veteran suicide, we can't do that without that healing component. So we want to make sure that that is one of our first priorities when we are looking at how we prevent suicide.
So, how many can you hold? What's the max attendance that you can handle?
100 participants is the max for this specific retreat, and that's because of lodging.
So we are halfway there, essentially, on capacity. So then what we need is, if you are registered to go to this integration event with Stacy and crew, bring a battle buddy. And let's try to keep those numbers even, because, man, that's the hard part of the logistics of these events, is trying to account for males are here and females are there, and is this a co-ed, mingling, or, what? So if... invite a friend of your gender. Let's get this thing maxed out and keep the numbers easy.
Yeah, I mean, let's take a second to talk about how extraordinary that is. The 50% females signed up for the IW retreat. I was doing a little bit of research on this a couple of weeks ago. Someone had asked me, and I didn't have a good answer to the question, so I had to research it. And 11.3% of veterans are female, according to the latest data that I've seen. 40% of IW veteran participants are female. So we are 4 times the rate that's in the population.
Well, yeah,
we are doing there's something we're doing. There's something in the water.
It's the moral ambiguity of the Silkies hikes. I think that's what's tracking all these ladies to come.
I don't know. I mean, there is something that is creating a place where they feel welcome and they feel encouraged and they feel that they want to bring more friends. And it's unbelievable. It's just natural. It's just a natural part of IW and our culture and who we are, and just being vulnerable, being honest, accepting, loving, just showing everybody love and showing everybody that they matter. And all these, this amazing benefit has been this huge surge in the female veteran participation, which we never anticipated, but we are leaning into it heavily. I would say some of our top chapter and community leaders are female leaders, and they are just fantastic with the empathy and the care and the ability to provide emotional support. It's unreal. I'm learning so much from our female leaders.
Yeah, they're just better at it in terms of emotional intelligence. Usually they mature earlier. I mean, they're just natural nurturers, and they get it in a way that takes a little longer for guys to connect in that same way. So, I mean, we need our female population desperately in this arena, because that is the leadership that's going to take everybody into that promised land that we're looking to go into.
Totally. Yeah, that's an excellent point. It's almost like our culture has been shifting over the last couple of decades, just outside of the military as well, but shifting more toward balance, and being able to have both seats at the table, and everyone's able to lead, truly lead, and not lead from, I need to be this particular style of leader that has it all figured out, but being able to lead from a place of authentic, vulnerable, care, leading with kindness, for example. And when I think about courage, and I think about the leaders that we all looked up to in the films when I was growing up, and the type of courage they had, which was physical, willing to put themselves in harm's way. I feel like the culture in the United States is moving toward now, maybe the next step is emotional courage and being able to talk about, right. It's like being able to, because that wasn't valued really with some of the older generations, was that emotional courage, or at least I didn't see it modeled that well. And so being able to have that balance, the male-female balance, and being able to see that emotional courage and the ability to talk about emotions and the ability to seek within your emotions is just a whole new thing for humanity.
It wasn't allowed. When we were kids, man, at least when I was, because I'm a little bit older.
Slapped out of me.
We still had all the old World War II guys were still running around. That was a big part of my childhood. Every time you went to a production of any sort. They would do the stand up if you're a veteran, be recognized. Like more than half of the
and that's
audience
the physical
would stand
courage.
up.
Those guys, they faced real physical hardship.
And they were dealing with their post-war experience with the tool sets that they had.
Right.
And, you know, that I think they're relying on the skills that they were given and what was the, you know, culturally acceptable at the time. So that's how they did it. That's how we learned at their feet. And the other element I think that was different too is that society was celebrating those guys. You know, I mean, there was no have to
mentality.
Well, even more than that, it's like, you know, anytime we're talking about veteran stuff now, and that's one of the things that I always had to deal with when I first came home. You know, I got out end of 08, right at the very beginning of 09. And
when it was hot and heavy in both countries, Iraq and Afghanistan.
I was a surge guy, so everything was just going freaking nuts. And it was a political year. So you had everybody, it became part of the election cycle to where we had this thing where, you know, somebody'd meet you and say, oh, you're a veteran. Well, you know, I just want you to know that while I don't support the war, you know, I do support the veterans. And so we were couching all these conversations to like, I'm not sure how to take that. You know, it's like, sorry, all your friends and what you do, you're all a bunch of pieces of shit, but I thank you for your service. You know, and that's kind of a weird mind twist to try to get around. The World War II guys, nobody questioned killing a Nazi or, you know. I mean,
there wasn't a lot of political division over what needed to be done. At least post-war, looking back on it, the right thing was done and the right thing was very clear. Whereas for Iraq and Afghanistan, we all are still questioning what were the motives underneath that. Should we have gone and done what we did, right?
Absolutely.
But I don't want to lose Stacy. We still have her on. But yes, I think, anyway, sorry, Stacy, you're talking about female participation being 50% of your retreat, and I'm just so excited about it. We just went down that rabbit hole. Yeah. But I want to hear about the other healing modalities that you have planned to teach people about at this retreat in Indiana.
So you guys have obviously heard about Forged in Fire. It's a huge series on TV. We actually have one of the finalists of season 9 coming out. His name is Ed Sull, and he teaches Valorsmith, which is a blacksmith course for veterans. So we're really excited because his mission is to empower veterans by providing them the opportunity to learn that, but also being able to use that trade to accomplish things. So they have physical, tangible things that they've made to be proud of. So that's really excited. So if you've seen Forged in Fire, Ed Sull from season 9 is one of our instructors this year at the retreat. We also have creative art for veterans coming out from IU Bloomington to do creative art. We're doing a Mandela hike, a spring craft, and a mask making through them. Both of their representative, one is a Marine and one is an Army veteran with lots of experience and their own traumas that they're bringing to the table, and how the creative art program has helped them heal. So we're really excited about those opportunities as well. A lot of local people coming out to support. Highs for Heroes is one of our other groups coming out to teach beekeeping. And there's actually grants and different things where people can actually start beekeeping as a modality through Highs for Heroes.
Oh, Stacy, did you happen to catch our latest Triangular Compass podcast we dropped this week on beekeeping?
Yeah, it's super
interesting.
I did.
Share that around. Get everybody that's attending a little primer of a little teaser of what's to come at the event.
My favorite part of that whole, when you were filming that whole beekeeping thing, was Drew Gregory.
Drew getting stung.
Yeah, I mean, Drew facing the fear, getting stung, coming back, facing it again.
Dude, it was
not getting stung.
It was literally like standing in a curtain of bees. That's the only way I can explain it.
Yeah.
And they only had 3 suits, and there was 4 of us. So Drew the short. He did. He took her for the team, man.
He always does that.
He is. He's like the best, man.
He is the best.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so Ron Ray is actually bringing his bees and all of his equipment out, so people actually have the opportunity to be hands-on with that experience.
I mean, how do you transport bees?
Yeah, they've got it figured out. I don't know. Yeah. How do you transport bees?
I don't know, man.
That is a logistical problem that I'm glad I never faced as a gunnery sergeant.
Oh, you said that which movie, Jackass movie was it, where they throw the hornets or the bees in the limousine with them and lock the doors and they can't get out?
Right.
I don't know that I could get in a car with a bag of bees or however they're transported and not think about that. That would just be terrifying.
Oh, I love it. We'll ask him. We will ask him. Come to the retreat and figure out how we bring bees to a retreat and then take them back away.
I tell you what, we should make a contest of that. Everybody submit your best explanation of how you transport bees. Doesn't have to be right, but just the one that's the most interesting that we get. Let's give them some Grunt style merchandise or something as a prize.
Yeah, that would be funny. That would be really funny.
So I think we're got about 8 minutes here left before we wrap it up. What else is on the agenda? She has some more. What's going on?
Yeah, she had a delay on her side. She had a delay.
Figuring it out here at the
I'm
technical
sorry. So I was just going to say, we do have scholarships still available. So if you can't afford to come to the retreat, we do have full scholarships available to cover the cost of the retreat. You would just have to cover your cost of transportation.
Thank you very much for that. Yes, the scholarships, the Irreverent Warriors scholarships. Please reach out to us on Facebook if you're interested in getting a scholarship to the Indiana GSF retreat, May 15th, 16th.
What is the cost?
The cost is $55, I believe, right, Stacy?
For the whole weekend? That's really good.
Yep, for the whole weekend.
Yeah, that's really good.
Well, thank you so much, Stacy, for joining us today. We really, really, really appreciate hearing about this and excited about it. And I'm looking forward to seeing you this week, this upcoming week, at the Combat Outpost IW.
Yeah. Are you jumping in the water too,
I'm
Stacey?
so excited. I will see you Wednesday night. Maybe. I'm still facing my anxieties about the water plunges.
Gotcha. All right, I just got
Thank
past
you very
a
much.
note here. What's this say? I need to September integration B-roll. Oh, I guess we're talking a little bit. We want to talk a little bit about that. So, integration is kind of the granddaddy or the daddy here of what's going to be happening in Indiana, just on a little bit different scale, a little bit bigger focus on it.
Right.
The sites that you're seeing on the screen here right now, this is actually the campsite where Combat Outpost IW is going to be held.
Yep,
so it's
sure is.
literally the same place. So
Yep.
if you're wondering what you're getting into, that's the place. It's beautiful there. I love that place.
Yes.
So what you're seeing is the instructors. These are all the different folks that we had brought in from all the different modalities. You can see that's Jay Garnett there, our Lakota friend from Pine Ridge, South Dakota, and the Nippy Sweat Lodge that we had. Those are called the Grandfather Stones. Quite an experience. I mean, things I've never thought I'd get a chance to do. We take pride in the fact of presenting those.
Yep.
And there's just a whole bunch of different ones. And how many of these are similar or the same type of modalities, but by different practitioners that we're going to see in Indiana?
Probably 8 or 9 different healing modalities. 8 or 9 different healing modalities. And pretty much a solid overlap: meditation, breath work, cold plunges, heat therapy, beekeeping operations, all these different. There's so many of them.
Yeah, it's a beautiful idea for an event, and I cannot be any more thrilled that IW chapters are starting to pick these things up and host them in their home area. Like that is a bazillion % what we had hoped would happen from that.
Yes.
So Stacy, thank you for bringing that into reality. That is a big deal to me.
Yeah, and I mean, the whole point of all of this isn't, hey, there's a silver bullet, we're going to fix you. Irreverent Warriors and Grunt Style Foundation is not going to fix you. You're going to fix you.
And that is the truth of all of these modalities, isn't it?
And it's just what Mike Wilkie's been teaching, which is instead of going external to all of these external things that you think the next pill or the next, beer or the next thing is going to, the next diagnosis is going to help, is your silver bullet. It's about that you can do it and you have your own process that's only for you.
Yeah.
And all of these different modalities just we want to introduce them so that people go where their heart is called. You know, if your heart is called into gardening, if your heart is called into martial arts, it's about ways to do things in community or alone, but to do things that allow your internal work and your internal progress with yourself in processing your emotions and learning your self-confidence and self-love and these different things, right? It's about anything that helps you, any tool belt or tool in your tool belt that can help you. We want to just give you the opportunity to interact with it enough to go, oh, I am actually really interested in this, and I had no idea.
To me.
There's
what
so
is
many
this?
things. Yeah, there's so many things where I said, no way, that's not for me, and then I kind of tried it. Someone pressured me, and then I said, oh my gosh, cold plunges, this is amazing, right? So there's just different things that we want to introduce people to, and you are going to heal you. Right?
That's exactly right. And that is the entire intention of the Triangular Compass program. We are not trying to go shepherd the sheep out of the valley away from the wolves. I mean, I think that's in some way you could maybe describe it as that, but reality, what we're doing is we're trying to give people exposure to things that maybe they're aware of, but they've never looked into.
Right.
We want to connect with them in a way that it sparks their imagination.
Right.
And then we want to equip them with the resources to actually figure out how to engage it. You know, I mean, it's one thing to see something you think is cool, but how do I access that? You know, I mean, and that takes some courage even sometimes, like, you know, taking that step to engage in some of this stuff.
What you're saying is empowerment.
Yes.
And I think that a lot of what we've been taught with the military and the VA health system is we will solve that problem, or, you know, somebody else will solve your problem. Come and we will diagnose and solve your problem, right?
And it can be anything.
And and it's just it's empowerment that your healing journey is your healing journey, and that you can figure out your own unique path.
And it can be literally anything. I know, you know, Tim Jensen's got a contact or friend that hunts Bigfoot, and like, we're actually talking about making that a Triangular Compass episode.
Fantastic.
Let's go hunt Squatch, man.
Yeah.
You want to come out in the woods and we'll throw rocks at trees and howl like we're a Sasquatch and see if they holler back and see if that heals us in some way? I'm skeptical.
I couldn't be more skeptical. I mean, that's the first healing modality I've heard of where I'm like, what?
Well, maybe we bring along some extra healing modality things to do while we're there, and you know, make the experience more robust. We'll play Monopoly or something.
Sure,
I'm down, man. Let's do it. And hey, if anybody you guys want to go and hunt Sasquatch with us, let us know. We'll take you along.
Fascinating. So, what else is going on in the Grunt Style Foundation world? What are you all working on? What's cooking for the next couple of weeks?
Oh, the next couple of weeks, man. Primarily, all of our interest is right there in Combat Outpost IW. I mean, that's our main focus. We've got a lot of things happening and popping. End of May, we're going to be down on Memorial Day down at Hempstock, which is down near Austin, Texas.
Okay.
I think they've got the Funkmeister George Clinton's going to be one of the headliners down for that. So there'll be a lot of good music, a lot of good camaraderie and stuff going on with that.
The Funkadelic.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so, and all that's kind of streaming into the advocacy that we're doing down in Texas right now with Senate Bill 54, which is looking to destroy the hemp industry.
You're trying to protect CBD.
We're trying to protect it. We're trying. I mean, my God, we
CBD.
fought like hell to get something that wasn't an SSRI that's actually helpful, and
it helps people get to sleep. CBD helps
great
people
for
with
inflammation, it's great for pain,
and then they're trying to make it illegal.
Well, they're trying to force a monopoly, is what they're trying to do.
Yes, they're
where the
making it
dispensaries
illegal
get that.
in certain places, and you have to go to a dispensary to get CBD.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly what's going on.
I never saw this, you know, in 10 years ago, you know, when everyone was talking about legalizing plants. I never saw that being a part of it.
Well,
right?
it's the marijuana industry that's trying to push for the monopoly.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
So it's crazy, man. But yeah, we're
protecting their revenue streams, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because this is eating into the CBD is eating into their revenue streams.
Yeah, and it's you know, all this could be solved with federal regulation if the FDA would just recognize CBD and just say, hey, these are the standards you have to have.
Sure.
You know, we have to have testing. We have to know it's pure. We have to know what's in it. There's no diesel fuel or pesticides rolling around in your CBD, which is really the only issue that's there.
You got to keep people safe, right? It totally makes sense.
And it makes sense. And if they would just, the FDA would get off their ass and just do that, we wouldn't have to be running all over the country doing all these state-by-state battles. When we beat it here in Missouri so far, I think there's about a 10-day window left in the legislature that could spring back up on us.
Yep.
But for now, I think we beat it.
Good.
It's popped up now in Tennessee. It's popped up in Arkansas.
Yeah.
And they're adjusting tactics. They're doing these like in the last hour that it could be pushed in. It just appears and then it just kind of goes.
Yeah, it's like a secret backroom deal type. It feels like a very secret backroom kind of a deal when that happens. When they bring it up at midnight and then it gets introduced and voted in. It's just kind of weird,
Yeah, well, they're morally ambiguous.
It doesn't seem democratic. But speaking of that, we are at time.
We are at time.
Yeah.
So you know what? We're not going to be on next week because we are going to be out at Combat Outpost IW. So join us again in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
So yeah, take us out, Hugh. Let's.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today. We love spending time with you, with our community. And please weigh in the comments and let us know what we should cover in the future. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. It is such a good Friday today. It's beautiful outside. Enjoy it.
Have a good one.